facing our fears, laughing through the chaos and drinking some beers. So here's to the laughs, the crumbs and the cheers, all the awkward moments, and we're still here. Cause in the end we're just doing our thing. It's our crazy life, oh, one more thing. Oh, one more thing. Oh!
Welcome to Oh and One More Thing, a podcast where two longtime friends try to figure out what the heck is going on with this crazy thing called middle age.
It's a mix of stories of how we navigate our lives and maybe some questionable advice.
Some days we're wise, other days we're just trying to remember where the heck we left our phone.
So join us as we laugh, groan, and maybe even learn a little something about surviving in the second half of life. Oh, and one more thing. Hey, I'm Rob. Welcome to Oh, and One More Thing.
Hi, I'm Brian. We're glad you're here. Thanks for checking out our podcast. What have you been up to this week, Rob?
Well, spent quite a bit of time with the family.
Good.
Yeah, both of us, my wife and I, were empty nesters, sort of, I'm going to say. Kind of like you, we have a child living at home still, out of high school, but living at home. Mine is still in college. My youngest one, she's paying rent, but we're at that point in our lives where that kind of happens. But this last weekend, my oldest, Jordan, she is going to school up at University of Minnesota Duluth, UMD as us locals like to call it.
Yeah.
She's going to school to become a teacher. And she came home. Haven't seen her in a couple of months. So that was really fun.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Well, we played Mario Party.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, and I don't know how you grew up with your kids, but when it comes to like Mario Party and Mario Kart, no mercy.
No,
none.
I'm terrible at those games.
Yeah, well, I'm so when they were really young, I was really I could kick their butts left and right.
Yeah, right.
Now that they're in the adult world, I what happened? It's not even close.
No, they wipe the floor with you.
They wipe the floor with me every time we play. But no, it's fun. We played some games. Had some dinner, that sort of thing. But the problem is, my wife, she likes to pick on me a lot.
Yeah.
So, for example, she told me to stop acting like a flamingo.
Yeah.
So I had to put my foot down.
I'm glad you put your foot down.
Yes, it's very much so.
So yeah, we're sort of the same empty nesters, but I have an adult daughter still living at home.
Yeah.
So she is out of college. So technically, I guess you could say that we're not empty nesting.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
She does pay a little rent.
Okay.
Which is nice. But she's focusing on paying off her student loans. So kind of give her that grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we also had, my middle daughter came home for the weekend.
She did.
And she was going up north, going glamping, which, is upscale camping.
It's not. Okay, yeah.
So that's what she calls it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, she came home basically to raid the pantry and make food for her adventure.
Of course, right?
But it was fun. We got to play games, watch movies. It was a good time together.
Good, fun. So you know that Mother's Day is coming up.
I do.
Just around the corner as we're releasing this podcast. I thought it'd be a great time to talk about families. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Did you know I've been working on my family tree for a while now?
I do know that, and I'll be honest, I'm a little jealous. That's one topic I've always been interested in, really my family tree in particular. I have kind of a smaller family, and all my grandparents passed away when I was fairly young, and we just don't have a really good track record of keeping photos, mementos, and that sort of thing. I mean, I got stuff in boxes in the storage room, but I probably have never gone through, but it's not a lot. My parents, they have a little bit of a working knowledge of our past, but it's not super detailed, in depth. I mean, we can ask a couple questions here and there, and I'll get a couple answers, but it doesn't go very far. So,
well, that was how it was for me too.
Okay.
I didn't really know much. I just knew my immediate family and ancestors. But so I started researching family when my dad got sick.
Okay,
and I realized that I didn't know this stuff. So I was taking notes and asking more questions. And so I started writing the things down and writing the stories down and just collecting like a collector.
Right.
Then without setting up an account on Ancestry.com, because, it costs me money.
Right.
I just started researching the internet. I found this site called findagrave.com. And you can actually search for people that's been buried somewhere in the nation.
Find a grave.
A grave site.
That sounds kind of morbid, but I suppose it makes sense.
It really worked because somebody or many somebodies have archived the graveyards in the nation, and you can go on this site and you can search for them. So I was able to find some gravestones, and that I thought, this is my ancestors, right?
Right.
When I was in the site itself, it was connected to more family members. So I kind of could create that path.
Yeah.
And the reason I knew that I was on the right track is I had talked to my dad.
Okay.
And he had said that, yes, when he was young, him and his family would go to South Dakota to visit his great-grandfather, Klaus.
Okay.
And that's one family that I found.
Okay.
And he said that's where they went to Montrose, South Dakota.
Okay.
And that's where they'd go on vacation. So I knew I had the right path.
Okay. Yep.
So I was on the right track, and I found that particular family line dates back to 1726.
Wow.
And that ends in Germany. And so I haven't gone that far to go find more of that.
All right.
Then I was able to find another line in the family that it ends at 1536.
Okay.
And yet another that goes all the way back to 1485.
Really?
So that puts my ancestors in the time frame of when America was discovered by Christopher Columbus.
Oh, wow.
That means, or John Sperry the First would be my great 14 times in a row
Great.
grandfather.
What? Really?
Yeah.
That's wow.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow. That's fascinating to me. Part of my reason of wanting to kind of get into this, look into this, is if you go the historical way of how your family hierarchy typically works, I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I have no siblings. So in theory, my family tree ends.
Your family, your name
My
ends,
name. Yeah, I guess I get it right. My family name ends.
but the ancestry continues.
Yes. That I get. But yes, the name itself goes away shortly. So, yeah. So I'm definitely adding that to my bucket list of things I want to accomplish before I die, my family tree. But I think I'll have to lean into your knowledge and experience to help me get the ball rolling. Give me some motivation, Brian.
I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I also started a binder of family members and their stories that I can collect from other family members.
Okay.
And it has photos and things in it, and just gives their occupation. And so you kind of create almost a diary effect of that.
Yeah.
And that's why, in the previous podcast I mentioned, I wanted to go to Ireland, Scotland, England. That's where my family comes from, just to maybe dig in and do some more research so I can pick up from where that my line ends and see if I can find more of them.
Sure.
As I recall, I think you're an only child.
I
right?
am an only child.
How was that for you growing up?
Well, I guess it's all I know, but talking to everybody else who had like normal families with siblings, it was a lot different. Yeah, I didn't obviously have brothers or sisters to hang out with and play with, but I had neighborhood friends, and I was always the youngest in the neighborhood, though. So.
And you're still the youngest in this,
I'm still the
this
youngest
relationship.
in this relationship too, right? It's a theme. I'm younger than my wife too, so I'm just the young one apparently. But so my next door neighbor, he was Mark. He was 3 years older than me. He's probably who I hung out with the most until he got like into high school and then went his little way. Probably not the best influence hanging out with somebody who's 3 years older than you growing up. Yeah, you don't make great life decisions at that point. But all my school age friends would live a couple neighborhoods away. So there's back to, again, one of our earlier podcasts where you'd get out at 8 a.m. on your bike, come back when it gets dark out.
Yeah.
I would have to drive blocks and blocks to go hang out with my school friends.
Right.
Nobody was in my neighborhood. So, but only child, lots of playing time alone. I grew up, I love playing board games. Like I'd pester my parents to say, please play games with me. They'd play it once in a while, but most of the time they're like, I don't want to.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah. So there's many a day where I would have a game of Monopoly set up in my room on the floor, and I would play 2 or 3 sides at a time. And
you had to play all by yourself.
I would, but you know what's great about that though? I always won. Funny, it was like Monopoly and like Trouble. It was never like, Scrabble where you had to think. No, it was
right.
It was easy games.
I like the Scrabble games now, the thinking ones.
Yeah, they're fun. I played a lot of video games too, because obviously to be self-entertained, a lot of video games.
Right.
In television in particular back then. And
video games weren't big in my house.
Yeah, they were big in my house because that's how my parents kept me quiet.
But I had to hop my bike too and ride to my friend's house because they all lived on the other side of the river. Okay. So I grew up on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
And I lived on the east side and everyone else on the west side. So I'd always have to ride my bike over there.
Sure. Kind of like here where you live on the other side of the highway.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's just a highway separating us. Before it's like this massive river.
And now you drive instead of riding your bike over here.
I do drive.
Yeah.
I don't walk.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But to get back on track here, I was the third child of 4.
Honestly, I don't think I knew you had 3 other siblings. I knew you had 2.
Really?
I don't think I knew you had 3. Yeah. That's news.
Well, let me tell you about them.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Let's go down the path.
I was a typical middle child, usually forgotten.
Sure.
And so if you wanted to get any attention, you had to make a spectacle of yourself to get noticed.
Right.
And I did that plenty. I always thought I was a funny kid and usually seeking attention all the time.
Okay, so same thing holds true today.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey. But we grew up playing with each other in the family and my cousins, because they just lived down the street.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
like everybody was really
nice.
close. Even though that you're an only child.
Yes.
Did you have cousins?
I did, but no, there's still a small family. We barely saw any of them. My dad's uncle, my dad's brother, my uncle Gene was the family we saw most. 2 cousins there. They lived the closest in Robbinsdale, so about 20 minutes away from where we lived. But they had a pool.
Oh, that's fun.
So that was always fun going to their house.
So you had to go to their house to go to the pool.
Always fun in the summer. Other two, my dad's other brother Wayne. Yeah, he had two kids, so 2 cousins there, and then my mom has a brother, and 2 kids from there, and that's it. But those other 4, we rarely saw. My mom's family lived in Wisconsin, and Wayne, they lived in South Dakota. So we just never really saw anybody. So overall, I grew up with a very, very small family.
But were you guys close?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, no.
I always thought that my family was close, but that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Until I met my wife's family. So
Sorry, I'm laughing because I know about your wife's family, but please tell.
yeah. So I met my wife's whole immediate family before I met her. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was going to school and I was working at Burger King,
Nice.
and I was friends with my wife Amy's brother Jim. And well, their family had a cabin, and that's where Jim lived, at the cabin. And so over the course of the summer, the whole family comes up to the cabin on the weekends, that sort of thing. And I met them all because I was hanging out with Jim.
Okay.
And so Amy, my wife, did not come up that summer.
Okay.
She was working the whole summer before she would go to school at the same place I was going to school.
Okay.
So in the fall, she came up to the cabin to live with her brother Jim, and that's when I met her.
Did you know you're going to the same school at the same time? At that time?
Well, when she came up and I got introduced to her, I knew she was going to go to the school.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it was about 3 weeks of dating, and I knew she was the one.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And how old were you back then
I was
when you met her?
20.
You knew what? 20 took you through. That's
19, I suppose.
yeah. Well, and you're still married today, so obviously,
Yeah.
good call.
Yeah. So I think I might have scared her a little bit when I said that, but sometimes you just know.
You just know, right?
And it's like, okay, I know, and I've dated other people, and I knew what it was like, and I was like, you're nothing like anybody else.
Yeah.
So I was drawn to her
Nice.
so quickly.
Very cool.
And the other most exciting, crazy thing that with her family, which was nothing like mine, is that they were really loud, really funny. They were into everybody's business, and they're just so connected.
Yeah.
I mean, the love around there was just, I couldn't believe it. It was very fun to be around. And so not only did I get the best girl, I got the best family and a lake cabin.
And a lake cabin.
Of course.
Right.
But everyone shares it.
Right.
So.
Right. Hey, this is Rob. I wanted to take a moment to talk about Spring Green. I've been using them since 2007. They provide fertilizer, weed control, lawn insect control, and core aeration services for my lawn. They also spray for mosquitoes, which is huge in Minnesota, and new later this year, liquid aerations and home pest control. They're a locally owned and operated company, super easy to get a hold of and work with. They'll give you the attention and service that you deserve. Visit their website at spring-green.com for a price quote specific to your property and to sign up for service. You can even register for autopay or prepay to save a little bit of cash right there on the website, or shoot them a message with any questions. That's spring-green.com, Yeah, your family and extended family with Amy is huge.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, our extended family with Tammy isn't much larger. Yeah, she has a younger brother and older sister, so she lives with the middle child syndrome, kind of the same thing as you do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's funny though, her family, they all live in the same town about 20 minutes west of here. Her parents and her brother and their family and her sister and their family, they have the town cornered. I mean, they each live on the outskirts of the town, tiny little town, and they all live on opposite corners. So they have the town surrounded. It's very funny. Tammy is the one that broke out of the county line.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but Amy's family, Amy's family was huge, man.
I know. Did you guys ever have family reunions or get-togethers like that?
No.
Well, when it comes to a large family, I mean, Amy's family is huge, and they would have every other year family reunion. And when I say huge, you don't even get it. I mean, there would be around 500 people there.
Oh, good gosh.
You'd have to sign a registry, you get a name tag, and these are all relatives. And it gets into the third and fourth and fifth cousins, and we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, because that confuses me. Because like I said, a very small family, I had cousins, and like that's it. That's all I knew.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And they would rent out this big, huge farm site called Gilfillan.
Yeah.
And everyone would just show up. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nothing like your family.
Nothing like my family. And that's part of why, you learn over time that things are different. What you grew up as isn't really what everybody does.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about those family terms, because that seriously does confuse me. I was always curious about terms like second cousin, twice removed, or third cousin, or I just don't get it. So I did a little bit of research.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, here's what I came up with. So we obviously, I mean, it's a very long and distinguished list, but we know the obvious ones. Who parents, siblings, children, grandparents, great and grandchildren, all that. Aunts and uncles, siblings are your parents, nieces and nephews are your children of the siblings, and then cousins, your children of your aunts or uncles. So we get all that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Great grandparents, we get parents of your grandparents. Great grandchildren, children of your grandchildren. And then first cousins, obviously we get second cousins, people who share great grandparents. So that's
where it gets confusing.
That's where it gets confusing for me. So first cousins are people who share the grandparents.
Right.
Second cousins who share the great grandparents. And then third cousins who share the great grandparents.
It's all generational, and you drop a first, second, and third.
Mm-hmm. Right. So then we get to the removed relationships. And then there, I don't want headlights here. Don't get it. So once removed. So this means there's a 1 generation difference between the two people. For example, your first cousin's child is your first cousin.
Yeah.
Once removed. Your parents' first cousin is your first cousin. Once removed.
Okay.
Sort of get that. Twice removed. So this means the 2 generational difference. So I get it from 1 to 2. But for example, your first cousin's grandchild is your first cousin twice removed.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me see if I understand this. Mm-hmm. So my grandfather George's father, Henry, is my great grandfather.
Okay.
And his son, Fritz, is my great uncle.
Okay.
So Fritz's children would be my second cousins, and their children would be my second cousins once removed.
Yeah, you lost me at hello. I'm still confused.
Okay, so then if we follow the same train of thought, let me see if I can help you out.
Okay.
My grandfather George's children, Gary, is my uncle. So we understand that.
I thought Bob was your uncle.
No, Bob. I do have a Bob. Yes.
Okay. So,
but we're going to talk about Gary.
So Gary's your uncle. All right.
So his children are my first cousins.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then my cousin Jenny, Gary's daughter, her children are still my first cousins, just once removed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it was that generation that happened. So each generation adds another removal.
Okay.
So one generation is once, then twice, then third, etc.
I think I'm kind of getting it, but I realize this is a podcast, but visual aids would help greatly in this matter.
Oh, yeah. You know when I had to figure this out? I have that family tree that we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Pasted on my wall in my office.
There you go.
And I mean, it's huge, right? So I had to actually stand in front of it with this definition and point
and
my fingers to say, okay, if this is this, then that is that. And I get it now.
Yeah.
But I had to have that in front of me to do it.
Draw a line and visually. Yeah. See, I'm kind of the same way. I visually, I can understand it a little better, I think. So, okay, makes sense. So it's a couple other important terms I came across, which a couple are obvious, like we know what an ancestor is, right? Person who you are descended. What's a descendant? This is funny. The definition of descendant. A person who is descended from another.
That's way easy.
Okay.
Come on.
I get it, but I thought the definition was just stupid. Consanguinity, I'm totally saying that.
I don't know how to say that
butchering that word, is a relationship by blood.
Say the word again.
Consanguinity. Consang, C-O-N-S-A-N-S-A-N-G, Consang, unity.
So we had to have notes here because there's no way we could remember these words.
No. A fennel.
I like that one, though.
Yeah, a fennel, relationship by marriage.
Yeah.
i.e. your in-laws.
Yeah.
And then genealogy is a study of your family history. So
That's what I do.
that's what I found.
Okay, so here's a question for you. If you could travel in time, would you go back in time to talk with your ancestors, or would you go into the future to talk with your descendants?
I mean, do I have to pick? Can I do both? Can I be Marty McFly and go back 30 years and forward 30 years?
Well, you can, but it's going to be two different movies.
That is true. That is true. And then a third in the Old West. I don't. That's a tough one. I mean, I think because part of me wants to learn my family history, my family tree, and I would love to go back beyond my grandparents because I have a good memory of my grandparents. A pair that lived here in Minneapolis and a pair that lived in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I grew up with them, so I kind of know where that's at, but I don't know anything before that generation.
Yeah.
So I'd be very curious to see how far back. Like my last name Liner is very German, so I know somebody in my family came from Germany. I know that.
That's where my name is from. As well.
But I don't know when or who or anything like that.
So I would definitely go back in time because I have all this history and I want more.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to my ancestors and like, what made you decide to come over to America?
Yeah.
How did you make the decision? Was there a war? Was there famine? What was going on? And then what boat did you come on? How did you do it?
Right.
I would love to ask all those questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool too. But now, so we have a new little grandbaby.
Yeah, you do.
And I think it'd be cool to go ahead like 50 years and kind of see how things turn out.
I'd be a little nervous. I don't necessarily want to know if they're going to be dicks.
Well, I'm with you.
I don't want to know that I produced that.
But what if they turn out to be like a celebrity?
Right, or a pillar in the community.
Or a criminal.
I don't want to know that.
I don't want to know that.
I don't know that.
Okay. All right. So, favorite TV families. Go.
Okay, so we pulled this list from tvguide.com. And so we got a list of famous families. And the first one I want to talk about is the Brady family from the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
Here's the story of a blended family.
Now, why would you change the lyrics of the song?
Because those are the words that TV Guide wrote.
Oh, good Lord.
But they put the fun and functional.
Yes, they did.
No matter whatever happened behind the scenes. I mean, we know the actor who played the dad was gay.
Robert Reed.
And the number one son was hitting on Florence Henderson, the mom.
Yes, he was.
But they did teach us important lessons like don't play ball in the house. Oh, my nose.
And pork chops and apple chops.
Pork chops and apple chops.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen the Brady movies that came out in the 90s?
I have.
Yeah, the second movie, Greg and Marsha kind of tried to get going on, which is...
But that's just wrong.
I know, but it was kind of funny in the movie that they were ripping on the show itself. I thought it was hilarious. Remember the Huxtables?
I do remember the
Cosby
Huxtables.
Show. Yeah, apparently in this culture we need to forget that show ever existed. But at the time,
it was groundbreaking.
Oh, groundbreaking! Yeah, I do remember Rudy's funeral for a goldfish.
Yeah, I do.
Bill Cosby's. He lived in Brooklyn Heights. They brought family comedy home in Living Color. Cliff Clare and their 5 kids saved sitcoms. And Thursday Night became must-see TV really because of that show.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, now not so much, but back then that was.
But you remember, you'd have to get home in time to watch must-see TV.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. How about The Sopranos?
Oh my God, one of my favorite shows. Back then, when that show came on Sunday nights on HBO at 8 o'clock, and that music started playing, I looked forward to that every week. It was just the best.
See, we didn't have HBO.
Oh my gosh!
Again, I grew up poor. I didn't have shoes.
All right,
I'm kidding.
You had to walk into school uphill both ways in the snow, right?
The snow, yeah.
I'm with you.
But Tony and his family, one of the one at home and the one that worked, I guess that's how they described it, proved that blood is thicker than water or marinara sauce. He always whacked the ones he loved. Right up to the final shot, past the onions, and let's forget about it.
And that probably one of the most, I don't want to say famous, but most, what's the word I'm looking for? Divisive series finales ever.
Okay,
the family.
I think I have to watch this.
You have to watch it. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna ruin it for you because the show's been out for 20 freaking years. So
I know. I probably know most of it, but
where the family, the core family, they all go to the diner and Journey's playing "Don't Stop Believin'," and people kind of walking in and out, and you wonder what's gonna happen, and then bam, it goes to black.
Oh, no.
And waits about 10 seconds, and then the credits come up.
And you just have to imagine what happened.
Imagine how it happened. It was great. Do you remember the Bunkers? All in the
Family.
Yes. Yeah, we can't choose our relatives, so sometimes we get a meathead like Mike, a dingbat like Edith, or a bigot like Archie. But the best family therapy is laughter. We got a bunker full from Norman Lear's groundbreaking social satire.
Right. Do you remember the theme song?
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like me, we had it made.
Those were the days.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
I put my falsetto on there for you.
Yeah.
I will randomly, at work, at home, in the office, I'll start singing this theme song. And my kids, when they hear it, like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's a theme song from an old show.
Yeah. Like from 40 years ago. But yeah.
Right, from the 70s. Yeah. How about the Barones? From
Barones?
Everybody Loves Raymond.
So I'm not a regular watcher of that, but I have seen it.
There's no escaping your family. Nope. And so why not live across the street from the smothering parents and the obsessive compulsive brother?
Yes.
I don't want to do that.
No,
but
no.
Ray Romano's version of Every Man taught us why not.
Yes.
Why not for 9 hilarious seasons? I guess that's what.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They did have a killer cast, though. They
did.
Yeah, it was a great cast. The Connors.
The Connors with Roseanne.
Roseanne and Dan. They weren't always the greatest parental role models. I mean, for example, they discovered their own pot stash and smoked it, which was hilarious.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's why we love them. In their struggle to scrape by, we saw ourselves, at least until we won the lottery.
Right.
Yeah.
How about the Ewings?
Yeah, I know that's Dallas, but not. I was a little before my. I was pretty young back then.
Oh, we watched the Ewings, the Dallas, all the time.
Yeah.
We hope we don't see ourselves in these backstabbing, money grabbing kinfolk, but we still loved watching them. Right up to the point where, whether JR was, rest in peace, getting shot, or supposedly deceased Bobby appearing in the shower. But, it's all just a Texas-sized dream.
Yep.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler, right, yeah. But, really, everybody likes to watch a train wreck in that.
I do. Yeah, they go, it's crazy.
Train wreck. So I have a couple from...
That's just like reality TV.
Oh, yes.
Train wreck.
Oh, yeah. That's why you watch it.
I know.
Yeah. And it's sad that reality TV has gotten to the point now where they have to create the drama to...
I know.
That's
what I don't like about it.
Yeah. See, I started with the Real World back in the day, the OG reality show, and that was real. Like, they just threw cameras in front of them and let them do their thing. And now it's all for show. And it's...
But I do like to watch Below Deck.
Oh, Below Deck's great.
I love that.
Yeah, Below Deck's a good show. Yeah. So, so a couple from my after school days, black and white TV, which still exists, believe it or not, people. The Cleavers.
We are reaching way back
we're reaching way back.
That's Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver, despite their surname, Ward. Been pretty hard on the Beaver Ward.
That was one of the lines.
Ward, June and Sons, Wally and Theodore, a.k.a. the Beaver, could never be cleavered. We don't have to be a suck up like Eddie Haskell to pay them a compliment. His nuclear family's goal, they were the bomb.
So I have a little story about that. Eddie Haskell.
Oh, yeah, Eddie.
So he was always prim and proper in front of the mom and the dad, but then as soon as they left, he'd be a hellion.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have a friend who calls me Eddie. That's my nickname. Because in front of people, church, I am very nice and calm. But then you get me out to a bar or something, and I will whoop it up in totally different opposites. He thought he knew me as the calm person.
Sure.
Till he saw my wild side, and he calls me Eddie Haskell.
Yeah, clearly none of the church people know you.
No. They might now.
They might now, yeah. Other show after school was The Addams Family.
I love the Addams Family.
Gomez, Morticia, and their altogether Ookie gang, who started out as Charles Addams' New Yorker drawings, didn't leave us in the lurch, providing the design for cartoonish clients to come like the Flintstones and one of my favorites, The Simpsons.
So, yeah, I didn't watch a lot of The Simpsons, but Flintstones, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was on at 7 o'clock at night. It was a evening show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Yeah, but that's another after school one. The Jetsons, the Flintstones. Yeah, that one.
I always watched Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island. Yeah, it was Gilligan's Island and Brady Bunch.
Yeah, back to back.
Every day, back to
every
back.
day.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That's what we did when we were kids. Park yourself in front of that TV.
Right.
Here's a cookie.
Well, now you just park yourself in front of your phone and watch TikTok videos.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Okay, last one we got here is the Waltons. Do you remember that?
I remember them, again, a show I didn't really watch.
I watched it a little bit when I was young, but the Depression couldn't get the Waltons down.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Not the Cold War. Not the Cold War. What did I say? The World War II.
World War II. Mm-hmm.
The creator, Earl Hamner, wove memories of his own rural upbringing into the lives of these close-knit Virginians. Mm-hmm. Good night, John Boy.
Good night. Yes, lots more I won't get into detail on. Most recently, the Dumfies from Modern Family.
Yeah.
Yep, love that show. The Bundys.
I like the Bundys.
Oh my gosh, the Bundys are great.
Married with Children, that's a great one.
Mm-hmm. Remember Happy Days?
Yeah, the Cunninghams.
So in my opinion, Happy Days really started the offshoot of shows.
Right, because you know how many shows spun off from Happy Days?
What do they have? Do you remember? I got some written down right here.
Do you have them?
Laverne and Shirley.
Yep, and Mork and Mindy.
And Joni Loves Chachi.
Joni Loves Chachi.
Which was kind of a bad show, but
it was still a spin-off and good for those actors.
Yes.
How about the Partridge Family?
Yes, the Partridge Family.
Susan Day. I loved her.
She was 70s hot.
But there's so many.
There's so many.
When I got this list, there was another 20 more.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I got to cut it off.
Yeah, right. Sounds like another podcast.
We can keep talking about this all day long.
Yes, we could. But let's get back to Mother's Day since it is this coming weekend.
Yeah. That's why we were talking about this.
That's right.
Family business.
Yeah. So this episode is being released on May 8th. And Mother's Day is May 11th, people. This is your reminder. Take care of Mom. But I thought it'd be a perfect way to end this episode with an ode to Mom. So Brian, what has your mom meant to you?
Well, my mom was always a very strong and in charge kind of person. Mm-hmm. She was that kind of person that would organize and direct an event. That's what she excelled at. Okay. So when she lived in the retirement community in Arizona, she would organize all of the bus trips. Okay. We're going to the casino. Mm-hmm. We're doing this. And that's what she did. She really digs it. Mm-hmm. But when I was growing up, she was my den leader when I was a Cub Scout.
Oh, Cub Scouts.
I know. I was a Cub Scout and I was a Weeblo and I was a Boy Scout. Yep. That's why I can tie a knot today. That's where I learned to sail.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Being a Boy Scout.
Because you have a sailboat at your cabin, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, just crazy point that just happened today. Mm-hmm. I was looking through some drone footage that my son-in-law took, and there's me sailing from above.
Really?
And I copied all these images off the drive that I had, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I knew he took them at the time, but I didn't remember.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, so she'd be the one that would always sit on the floor and encourage me to draw and be creative, and we'd play Play-Doh together and things like that, and coloring, and so it's probably why I'm creative today, because she encouraged me.
Yeah, she planted the seed.
I think so.
That's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, my mom and dad were complete opposites. My dad was my buddy, so not so much on the discipline part of things, but I think that's why I'm so friendly and quite honestly funny as all heck.
You are funny as all heck.
Thanks.
I know. I laugh every time I see you.
Thanks. But my mom, yeah, she was the rule keeper, the disciplinarian, and at the time when I was growing up, I hated that. I mean, but now that I'm older,
right?
Oh yeah.
But now you appreciate what she went through.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally feel I have integrity, honesty, and I feel that I'm a stand-up guy, and that's really all due to her. And it's definitely shaped how I raise my girls. Yes, I want them to like me, but I also realize they need to know right from wrong. So growing up, there was compassion, but I also held the line with the rules. I go back to our Mario Kart example. There's no mercy in Mario Kart. Right?
I thought you just said you were a stand-up guy.
Well, I'm a stand-up guy, but there's no mercy in Mario Kart. You're not always going to win in life.
I don't want to play Mario Kart with you because I first of all drive right off the road.
According to my kids, I suck at it now. So it'd be just fine. So yes, I never let them win. They may have cried about it a little bit, but now, like I said, now they kick my butt. So what comes around goes around. Or vice versa.
Right.
And now we hang out. We have adult conversations. We enjoy being around each other. I mean, same with my mom. She moved to California and Arizona. I mean, 25 years ago, I think. And over those years, we'd see her a couple times a year, either here or there, but not on a regular basis. And then about 2 years ago, her husband, my stepdad, he passed away. And since then, we've been spending a lot more time in Arizona with her, helping to her adjust to her new life as a widow. It's been really great reconnecting with her and being more involved with her, being more involved in her life and with ours as well.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's wonderful. And to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done for us. And we wouldn't be where we are today without you.
Couldn't agree more, Brian. Hey, everyone, if you liked today's episode, why don't you go ahead and hit those subscribe and like buttons. We have more episodes in the tank and can't wait to get them out to you. Email us your thoughts at ohandonemorethingpod@gmail.com. Comment and like us on Facebook and Instagram if you could. That would be great.
That'd be great. And if you email us a topic and we use it in a future episode, we will send you a highly sought after and One More Thing t-shirt.
Yes, and very rare. Yeah.
Rare because there aren't that many of them.
That's right.
Oh, and one more thing. Take care of Mom, not only this weekend, but every day. She gave you life, damn it. Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week. You think our moms scream our full name out loud when we curse on here?
Yes.